University of Applied Sciences. This webinar will be about our ICT and Software Engineering program. My name is 𝗬𝗓 𝗧. I will be your moderator in this webinar. There are more people involved. Let me introduce them to you. Mr. 𝗵𝗬𝗂𝗏. He's one of our teachers in the ICT and Software Engineering programs, and we also have two students helping us out, Nikita from Estonia and Karina from Bulgaria. So welcome. What we will do, first we give you a presentation as what I mentioned already. By the way, in the meantime, in the chat, please give us your name and just your country where you're coming from as a kind of welcome. So we will start with a presentation given by Mr. Tim. He will tell you about the ins and outs of the software engineering program, what it means to be a student in that program, what are the requirements, etc., that all kind of things. Please ask us all your questions while the presentation is going on in the chat. Then Karina and Nikita and myself are pleased to answer them for you. And then when the presentation is over, hopefully we will have a kind of a live Q&A session so that we can go in depth into your questions. And then hopefully at the end, it will take around 1 hour. This webinar will take around 1 hour, that we were able to give you good information about this study program, which helps you to make a good choice for your future university program. Okay, that's all for now. From my side, I would like now to give the floor to Mr. Tim.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. So my first slide is the people presenting. So I guess Leo already introduced me. At the time this picture was taken, I had a bit more hair on my head and less on my chin. That's fine. And Nikita and Karina will support me in this, I would say, workshop, but it's not actually a workshop because we'll be doing all the talking. Okay, first we'll take a quick look at what ICT and software engineering is, how the program is set up, and then the students will talk about studying in the Netherlands and the study association. And there's plenty of time for Q&A at the end, but also feel free to ask your questions in between in the chat. Okay, so basically, we as software engineering are at the heart of our ICT education school. There's 5 profiles that you can choose from after the first half year. And of course, software engineering is the best one, and it has all the stuff that the other guys also do. But in this presentation, we'll be mostly talking about software engineering. Okay, so what does it mean, software engineering? Well, we got a quote somewhere that says developing quality software based on user requirements. So what does it mean? Well, 2 important parts there, user requirements. So what does our user need? And in my opinion, quality. So how do you make sure that it actually works and does what the person actually needs? You might have seen this picture before, you might not have. I think for software engineering, the dotted lines indicate what we do. So project leadership, analyzing it, programming it, testing it, documenting the stuff, hopefully installing it. Well, not the billing part, but also supporting. So a lot of parts in the development of a product is what we do as software engineering, I think. So what are you to do? Should you have finished this education? Well, you could start off as a back-end developer, a front-end developer, a tester, etc. And in these cases, you mostly are going to start off as a junior, so as a beginner. And what these terms mean, if you don't know what they mean, that's fine. We'll go into it later when you start your study here. But basically, as a backend developer, you're really into the code, and as a front-end developer, you're really into what the end user sees, so on screen, what you see in your browser. Okay, if you grow a bit in your company, you'll become a software architect, a project leader, a consultant, and etc. There's many options to grow into as a if you have been follow this course and stay at a company for some time. So how does our program look? Well, we are a 4-year education normally, and we're split up into semesters, which means that every school year is split up into 2 half years, and a semester is half a year. Okay, there is some weirdness here. It might not be visible very well, but there are some gray pieces here, which are semester 4, 5, 7, and 8. And 2 of these are specialization and minor. So that's not software engineering, but you get to choose a specialization or a minor, which is something like cybersecurity or yeah, whatever you fancy. We have a lot of specializations you can choose from. And we also have 2 internships that last half a year to get you really going as a software engineer. So working at a company is basically our end goal. The first semester is an introduction into all profiles, which basically means that if I were to go back, let's just go back. I can do that now. If I go back into this slide, and you might have heard this talk before, but we have 5 profiles you can choose from: business, technology, software engineering, media, and infrastructure. And in the first half year, you get the first 8 or 9 weeks, I think, you get all these profiles once a day. So 1 day software engineering, 1 day business, 1 day technology. And hopefully you get a good taste of what these profiles are all about. And after you have gotten that taste, you can specialize into one of these directions. So you don't have to choose immediately, but you get a good introduction to what you're going to do. We start off with basic programming in C#, and we do a simulated group project to get you working as a group. Okay, semester 2 starts off a bit more complicated. So we start by applying the object-oriented programming principles. We do some web development. So in the front end with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Razor pages. And on the back end, we work with C#, .NET Core. And we focus a lot on improving your professional skills. There's also a simulated group project, and we involve what we call PIs, Partners in Education, which are companies that are, have pledged their help to improving our curriculum. And in this case, they give workshops and guest lectures. If you are to succeed in this semester, you go to semester 3, which is 1 step up, and we talk about what we call the client-server architecture. We do the back-end coding, so the nitty-gritty stuff in Java, and we work in the front end, so what the user sees in what we call a JavaScript framework. And in this case, it is going to be React. Doesn't matter much if you have not heard of these terms yet, but it's one of the bigger, well-known frameworks. We focus quite a lot on quality assurance. So how do you make sure that the code or the work that you do is of good quality? And you probably have already met some bugs in your software engineering life as a user, maybe even as a developer, but testing and what we call CI/CD are big parts of improving the quality of your work. We focus quite a lot on software architecture there, and we start using those partners in education as clients in our group project. So we have a company with an actual problem, and they say, hey, this is my problem. Can you fix this for us? And we do that in an agile way. So in sprints, we improve a small product into a large product and hopefully solve the client's problem. Then we have semester 4, which is specialization, which I don't talk about, and semester 5, which is your internship. And then you go into semester 6, which is the highest level of software engineering we'll talk about, where you learn how to build as a group a large-scale distributed software system. For example, an Amazon or a Netflix or whatever. At least theory behind it. You're not probably going to build an actual Netflix. You might, of course, but and we do this in what we call context context-based research, and we have partners in education that help there as well. But their problems are more complicated, and instead of saying the teacher is the all-knowing God that knows everything, these problems are so advanced that students have to do a lot of research, and we help students do that research, and in that way solve the problem with cutting-edge technologies. Hopefully, at least. If you should want this and you are very skilled with math, there is a variant on this track, which is called the accelerated program. It's 3 years instead of 4. And this helps you, should you want to do, you want to go to a theoretical university like the technical university next door to ours, or the 𝗪𝗖𝗧 in Tilburg, which is I think it's the data science university. You have to do a lot of extra work there, and it's mostly focused on math, logic, that kind of stuff. There is a pre-assessment, and you need your high school diploma with good grades, especially for the math and physics stuff. There's a webinar here. I think it's probably best if I just copy this link into the chat. Let me just do it now before I forget. Should you want to go, know more about this? Can I do this actually? No, I'll do this later. That's fine. Okay, register for the webinar. What do I need to say about this as well? Yeah, I guess this makes probably sense. Okay, so what the last thing I think I want to discuss before the students take over is that partners in education are a very big part of our education in this case. So these are just the first, 15, 18 companies that help us out. And the companies make a promise to help us improve our education. So every half year we have an advisory committee in which we sit together with a couple of these companies, and they advise us on what to improve, what to keep, what to change. And in that way, we shape our education, try to make it as relevant for the companies, and in that way for our students as well, so that they can start off in the Dutch software engineering life as easy as possible. And you might recognize a couple of them. I guess Canon is one you probably know, Atos, Brunel, CGI maybe. A lot of these are international ones, but I don't know if they're actually known from outside of the Netherlands or France, but that's fine. So this is the first couple. We have quite a lot, and they do help us out a lot, and it's quite cool to work with a company and to solve an actual problem that they have, and also see how they do it. Okay, then I guess one of the students is going to take over.
Yes, hello everyone again. My name is Nikita, and I'm going to tell you about why it's great to study at Fontys, especially in Netherlands. So basically, there are a lot of reasons. First of all, why to study at Fontys? Fontys offers a huge range of the programs, and in different fields, as you understand, but today we only want to discuss the software development by itself. As well, as Tim said, the teaching style is student-centered, and there are a lot of projects that you can engage and get a lot of practical experience. But then why still study in the Netherlands? So basically, comparing with the other countries such as Denmark or England, the tuition fee by itself is pretty low, and the price for the accommodation as well is not so huge. During the first year, if you're searching for the accommodation, Fontys can provide you as well for the fair price. As well, if you maybe have a doubt that it will be hard to speak with Dutch people because not everyone speaks English, that's not true. Around 95% of the people, Dutch people, speak English, so it's really easy to interact like on daily basis. And as well, Dutch society is oriented, diverse, and inclusive, so there won't be any problems. As well, according to the Global Peace Index, the Netherlands is considered as one of the safest countries in the world. So yeah, that's the good deal, I think. Can you go to the next slide, please? And now I would like to speak about the Eindhoven. So Eindhoven has a population of 230,000 people. That's pretty huge. And it is considered as a Silicon Valley of the Middle Europe. And why is that actually? That's because there are a lot of companies such as Philips, SML, 𝗪𝗁𝗁, and 𝗹𝗲𝗿𝗄 that provide career opportunities for the students and as well for the new employees. So a lot of people who have passion for the science and technology, they are coming to Eindhoven to get as much experience as they can. Can you go to the next slide, please? So yeah, as I told you, actually, yeah, everything was told. I didn't tell that's the 5th largest city in the Netherlands, but yeah, there are a lot of companies, as Tim also mentioned, that provide the business opportunity for the students to grow. Can you go to the next one? Oh yeah, of course. How can I speak about the Netherlands without mentioning the food? So basically, like, Dutch people really like krokanta. That's on the right top, as you can see. The fries are also amazing. If you go to the shop here, that's what I really like. You can find more than 10 plus varieties of the fries. So it's just up to you what kind of would you like to take. And also waffles are super nice. Can I go to the next one? And of course, yeah, right now there is Corona, so not so many events are happening, but still, besides, if I'm not considering the Corona times, there are a lot of events happening within the Eindhoven, such as King's Days. There are a lot of things to do for the students in the free time. So 1 week ago, we had the Glow Festival where, so the main idea is that students and the companies, they decorate the city with different lightings, with different also exhibitions, and it looks just amazing. And yeah, can you go to the next one? Oh yeah, that was it from me.
As my friend and colleague already mentioned, Fontys is not just studying, and we also have a student association, and it is made from students, by students. The board is just students like you, and yeah, the idea of it is to make sure that everyone can socialize, they can get entertainment, they can attend parties, and basically that you can make friends from all over the world. Tim, next slide, please. And yeah, this is the current board members, but if you want, when you come to study here, you can also become one of these people. Yeah. Tim? And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can check out what we actually do. You can see pictures from parties, evenings with board games, watching movies together, and things like that. And it's pretty cool, I would say. It's a great opportunity to meet some new people and to also make friends with people who can actually help you with your studying. So yeah, this is PROXY. And back to you, Tim.
Yeah, let me unmute myself. So I think we're at slides that were added last night. Leo, is it more practical if I talk through them, or do you want to go through them?
Yeah, we can do it together, Tim. So, so one of the slides for students to find out more information about what it means being a student at Fontys University, more specifically at ICT department. By the way, at my back, you see a picture of the new building. It's 2 years now, and it has been awarded as being one of the finest university buildings in the Netherlands recently. So it's a brand new building where teaching has been done, or will be given by teachers, but not only by teachers, also by lecturers, and you have the opportunity there to study, let's say, also with other students working on assignments in well-equipped laboratories. Yeah, here you have some links to our social media. now have a look at it. Whenever you want to visit them, you feel free to do so. Let me see. Is there another slide to this, Tim? Yeah, these only some pictures, but let me see.
We have quite a lot of slides, I think.
Yeah, maybe that one. Today, this is our second webinar. So we started off with the general info about ICT programs, that's what we did before. This is the ICT and Software Engineering webinar. And of course, hopefully we can give you some more detailed information about it. And as what you can see on the other days this week, there are the other webinars planned. Tomorrow we have ICT Business and ICT Technology. On Wednesday, it's Infrastructure and Media Design. Then on Thursday, we have again the general webinar about our ICT programs and the specializations in ICT. And of course, we can give you some more information about that now, specifically linked to software engineering. So that's my question to Tim. What specializations do software engineering normally choose?
I think most will go for artificial intelligence and for cybersecurity right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that at the moment, these are two popular specializations. And as what you already briefly mentioned, specializations can be chosen from the 4th semester on. There are students who choose a specialization only for 1 semester and then continue again in their profile, like ICT software. But there are also students who continue in their specialization for the rest of their study program and even graduate in it. So that webinar will be given on Thursday, November 18th at 2000 hours. And then on Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there we will have this accelerated ICT and software engineering program, which Mr. Tim already briefly explained about. So this is the schedule for this week. And you even have the opportunity to visit us on the campus. That will be on the 27th of November. That will be, let's say, a physical open day, of course, with restrictions related to Corona, to COVID-19. But we just received this information. So if you have the opportunity to come over to Eindhoven, we have an international airport here, so with many connections to many European countries. So if it's an option for you, you're of course welcome to visit us. And more information about the registration for all these webinars and for this open day, please go to our website, fontys.edu/meetus. Yeah, or to fontys.edu/ICT. That's our website for the ICT programs. So there you can also go to the Meet Us page and make a registration for the open day or for the virtual webinars we have just looked at. But you need to make a registration for it. Let me see what questions are coming in at this moment. Yeah, indeed, Tim, these are some slides.
Do you want to go through this? I don't know if it still adds any value.
Yeah, exactly. So we already mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay. Seen Karina already answered some questions about the sports center. But let's go back now a little bit to the content of the software engineering program. So what you already mentioned, Tim, in the first 10 weeks, in the first semester, the students do an orientation on these 5 profiles: software, business, technology, infrastructure, and media design. We look upon this as a kind of toolkit. And then after these 10 weeks, indeed, this is the overview, the students make a choice for a profile. What can you advise students related to software engineering? Of course, we know that most of the students who come in already know in advance, okay, I want to do software engineering. But it happens now and then that students change their profile. But what would you say, Tim, what qualities should a software engineering student have, in your opinion?
Yeah, good question, Leo. I think that the foremost thing that you need as a software engineering student is a logical thinking skills, analytical skills, I think it's called. So can you dissect a problem into smaller things and make a step-by-step approach of solving it? I think that is the way you should look at things. So you might also call this a mathematical thinking skill, I guess. If you're good at math, if you're natural at math, there's a high chance that you're going to be good at developing software. If you're very poor at math, unfortunately, you will have to work a bit harder, I guess.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that you're not going to succeed. It might indicate that you're going to struggle a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, there was one question coming in. Math requires.
Is it okay if I stop the sharing, then I can see a little bit more? I don't know if that's okay.
Yes, I was telling that there was already a question coming in from a student. What math requirements are there? And I already gave her or him the answer you gave 1 minute ago. So logical things are in fact more important, logical thinking, analytical thinking, than having good math grades. On the other hand, for being admitted, math is even not a requirement anymore. But as what you already mentioned, especially for software engineering students, you need to have some good logical skills if you're working on programs, on codes, etc. So that makes it easier. But per se, it's not necessary to have good mathematical or to have good grades in mathematics. Nikita and Karina, do you agree with this? What's your opinion about having good math skills or not for being a good programmer? Because both of you are also doing software engineering.
It depends what you want to do by the end, actually, because for some things you need mathematical skills like artificial intelligence, I believe. But for example, I'm doing my graduation internship right now as a backend developer, and I don't need those skills at all.
No.
The last time I was doing the math, it was during the first year at Fontys.
No. Yeah,
but
so
about the Fontys program, when you start the math course overall, you're getting prepared a bit.
Yeah, there's no math in software engineering anymore.
Yeah, a new curriculum, so I actually didn't have that course, and I can say that, well, for me that wasn't that big of a problem. And I've noticed that mathematics wasn't that important in my studies because it's more about the way you can think rather than knowing theoretical maths, basically.
Yeah,
that also explains what I already mentioned, that there is no formal requirement anymore related to math. So and of course, as what we already have seen, we have 5 profiles, and I would say software engineering and technology are the most technical profiles. But there are also students who choose media design or business, and then you even depend less on mathematics. So we have a lot of tasters in ICT for all types of students. And that also explains why we don't have this formal requirement anymore. Let me see, are there any questions coming in? I didn't really check it so far.
There is one question. When is language proficiency deadline for September 2022? I think they can find that on the website, right, Leo?
Yes, the requirements are on the website, fontys.edu/ICT. Normally it works as follows. So a student makes an application in studielink.nl, for example, for ICT, HBO-ICT, we call it in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven. Then after 1 week or so, the student will be contacted by the admin office, maybe for some further information. But normally, students only have to provide the name of the secondary school diploma they will obtain. So a lot of students don't have a secondary school diploma yet, and a lot of students don't have an English requirement certificate yet, like ICT or Cambridge or whatever. So these documents can be supplied later, I think even till the 1st of August. Yeah? But that makes, of course, the procedure a little bit more complicated, I would say, because you don't know for 100% sure whether you have been admitted, yes or no. But to be short, if you fulfill the requirements, so having the correct secondary school diploma and having the correct English proficiency certificate, then you will be admitted. Yeah. So we don't have numerous fixes or whatever. So all students that fulfill the requirements can be admitted. That's even regulated by law in the Netherlands. So that's where students don't have to worry about. Does that answer the question, Karina? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Like, in short, you can check it on the website for strict deadlines. But yeah, you follow the process really nicely, I would say. And there's another question. Can we opt for the accelerated ICT program after we get admitted? So after they have already been in Fontys?
Yeah, yes and no. Let's say for the 3 years, the bachelor, accelerated bachelor program, software engineering, 3 years, it needs to be done in advance, because as what Tim already showed, there will be an assessment before the student will enter. So that also means the student needs to have prior knowledge, especially related to programming skills and the math skills Tim already mentioned. And based on this, the student can be admitted. And then there will also be a kind of course given somewhere from end of May till beginning of July that students have to take part in. And when they have completed that, then they will be admitted for the accelerated program. But that's only for the accelerated program, not for the regular 4-year bachelor program. If you enter that one, then let's say after the first semester, when you are an outstanding student, you can still take part in the accelerated program, but then it will take you 3.5 years. Yeah. So in fact, there are several options. And then we even have the option that, let's say, a regular bachelor student who is in his 2nd or 3rd year and decides to do the pre-master. When you're doing well, you have a lot of time left. So then you can choose to do your pre-master while you're studying at Fontys. And then you can stream up, for example, at a master program at Technical University, our neighbor, or 𝗪𝗖𝗧 University in Tilburg. Or, as what you already mentioned, Karina, in a previous webinar, is that you want to do a master program at another university, research university, and that's what we're talking about, in another country or in another city in the Netherlands. Yeah. So there are several options indeed, but for the accelerated 3 years program, there is an intake, and the intake is also linked to a kind of course you have to go through, and when that's okay, you can be admitted. It's a tough program. Do you know more about it, Tim?
Well, I do have some students that follow that, and they follow the regular track like all other students, but also some extra stuff in what you could call your free time. So they do have classes at Friday evenings and stuff like that. So it's quite rough, and they get math and get bombarded by all the stuff why I didn't like theoretical university. But that's very much up to the students themselves, I guess. Yeah. So what I think is very important to understand is we as Fontys really focus on getting you into the working field as a fully functioning software engineer. And if you do the advanced track, it's more of really a mathematical theoretical approach, which is added on top of that. So you really have to be the kind of type that says, hey, I like to do math and stuff like that.
Oh. Yeah, indeed. That's, of course, very important. And as what you already mentioned, you need to spend a lot of free time in it. So actually, you don't have a lot of free time left anymore. You know? And don't forget, especially for our international students, when you start studying with us, the first year is always the most important year, because that's what we call the selection or orientation year. In the first year, you have to prove yourself and the university that your study program is your cup of tea, that you are successful in it, that you have a passion for it, because as what Tim already mentioned, we are educating you to becoming a professional in IT for the labor market. Yeah? So that means that right from the beginning, as a junior engineer in IT, you need to be able to tackle real life problems. You know? And of course, if you want to stream up in a master program, it will be more theoretically. Let me see. Do you see any more questions, Karina?
No, these are the questions so far. If anyone has any other questions left, please put them in the chat.
Now, maybe one more question for both Nikita and Karina. So eventually you have chosen software engineering. Was that also the choice when you started the program?
Go, Nikita.
Okay, yeah, I was letting you go. So for me, yeah, that was actually from the beginning. Because when I started, there was only technology, business, and software, and I always wanted to do something related to the backend, to the system. So yeah, I decided to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, for me it was a bit more different because I have some background with software engineering already. So I was like, maybe I want to try business. But then during the first semester, I actually found out that what ICT in business is not exactly what I thought it's gonna be. And my interest was more into entrepreneurship and not ICT in business. So in the end, I decided that I'm gonna stick with software in Fontys.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so both of you are now in a graduation or in a regular internship. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Nikita, you are in your graduation internship. Can you explain to the students what it means?
Yeah, basically what it means that I need to write the thesis, which is not so theoretical, but more practical. I need to show the progress that I'm actually achieving during the internship. And so basically for my internship, I'm building as a backend developer the system for another system that handles some operations, these kind of things. And it's pretty interesting, challenging, of course, in a lot of aspects, but I like it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what's the company you're doing your...
It's 𝗬𝗎.com. It's located in 𝗵𝗲𝗍, actually. So I need to travel like every day, 1 hour, I think. But it's fun, yeah.
Okay. Karina, you're doing your internship that is in semester 5 in your 3rd year.
Yes, that's correct. My internship, I'm doing it at Cybersmart Technologies. I'm currently working on creating a whole new application that the assembly personnel, so the people who actually create the physical devices that the company uses, can test the devices with. And how I would describe the internship is basically being placed in a company so that you can actually see why you're studying all these things in Fontys and put them into practice more or less, and try to actually work on something that is not just something that a teacher thought of, it's an actual product that the company wants.
Mm-hmm. How did you find your internship assignment?
For me, it was way easier than for most people because I was already working at that company that I'm doing my internship. So it was more of I already got an offer from the first question I asked about Usually, the way it is, there's a portal in Fontys where students can actually see open assignments that they can pick up, or they can search on their own for a company and go to interviews, and someone is going to get them because, well, in the Eindhoven, people know that Fontys University of Applied Sciences and the ICT program is actually a really good program, so I don't think it's really that much complicated.
Yeah, I think I agree that most of our students find their assignments for internships or graduation internships, I wouldn't say quite easily, but of course, but all of them find correct, nice assignments. And as what Tim already mentioned, we have connections with more than 120 companies, not only in the region, but in the whole of the Netherlands. So Nikita is doing a graduation internship in 𝗪𝗏, which is around 70 kilometers from Eindhoven. So you will travel by train, probably.
Yeah, by train.
How did you find that one, Nikita?
Yeah, basically, I got recommendation from my friend who is also doing graduation internship now, and he got recommendation from another friend also from Fontys, and it went like as a chain basically. And now we, I think, 9 students from Fontys doing the graduation there.
Okay. Yeah, and what many students also don't know, while being an intern or a graduate student in a company, you also get a small salary. Are you satisfied about your salaries? Normally people say, no, I'm not.
Well, as an internship, I guess it's all right, but I was working less hours at the same company and got paid more than when I'm doing my internship now, so yeah. I guess it's all right.
Yeah, the same for me. It at least covers like basic needs like accommodation and studies, so that's fine.
Okay, so what we are also aiming at, you already mentioned Brainport. So Eindhoven is in the middle of Brainport region, so a very top flight technology region in Europe. And a lot of international students also find their, let's say, first jobs in this region. Are you also opting for it after graduation? Or are you still thinking about it?
Yeah, actually, today I got already the question from my team lead if I would like to stay there. So I suppose yes, like, because it's pretty close. I'm still planning to do like pre-master either in Eindhoven, either in Amsterdam, so it will be a good opportunity.
Okay, but then you already got a nice offer that after graduation you already have a job if you want to, of course.
Yeah, that's really nice. And also demand for the software developers here, but I think everywhere almost in the world is rising every year. So now's the chance to jump up into the train basically and enjoy the ride, yeah, as a software developer.
And Karina, for you, it's still a little bit far away, or let's say 1.5 years from now, but what are your plans for the future?
I honestly haven't fully decided, but maybe I'll stay, maybe I won't, but I'm sure that whatever choice I pick, my education will help me anyway.
Yeah, that's for sure. Then there is a question coming in, is first year the hardest, most challenging? Yeah, it's at least in the 4-year program. I wouldn't say it's the hardest, most challenging, but it's for you the year that you really have to put focus on, because in the first year you have to find out as a student, is this what I'm looking for? Is this the field where I want to graduate in and to work in for maybe 40 years? That's the question which you must ask yourself. And of course, from the university, we also have our requirements, because at the end of the first year, you need to achieve at least 60 credits in order to be allowed to continue. So that's also very important for students who start in whatever study program, university program in the Netherlands. The first year has its requirements. I always say to students, it's quite easy to get into a Dutch university, but you need to survive the first year. Yeah, so that's very important for you to know. You know? And we also expect from students that right from the beginning, you work on your assignments, that you study, that you sit for exams or whatever. So Tim and I were lucky when we were in university. There were only exams twice a year, and you could prepare for them well in advance. But currently, the university system is quite different. So right from the beginning, you need to show your progress, and you will assess by that pretty soon. Am I right, Tim?
Well, I do have to say I'm not super familiar with the first semester. And I think the second semester is being redeveloped as we speak, but I know the third semester has once or twice a month at least a meeting with a teacher, which is basically an assessment, I guess you could say.
Oh.
Yep. So it's the big once half a year tests are gone, I guess.
No, that's correct. Yeah. How did you judge this process, Nikita and Karina? So going through this, you are at a university. Of course, that always means you have to go through assessments. What's your judgment about that? How did it go?
I'm with the new curriculum, so I haven't really had what Nikita has gone through, but I've had a lot of projects, and for me, most of my assessments, except the first year, have been just working on a project the whole semester and getting feedback from my teacher. So at any point of the semesters, I knew if I was doing all right, if I was going bad, if I was doing outstanding. So I always knew how I'm doing, and I really like that type of assessment because I always knew where I stand. My teacher can always tell me what I can improve on or what is already doing really well. I should not put my energy into it. So I really like that. And in the first year, we had some exams. That wasn't that stressful because we knew ahead of time when exactly the dates of these are. So we could, as you said, prepare in advance. But there were also projects then, so it was a bit mixed. But personally, I really liked it. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Karina. Do you have something to add, Nikita?
Yeah, basically, when I was studying the second year, like we still had a lot of time to prepare because we had the exams every 8 weeks, I believe.
No.
But I think with the new curriculum, it's a bit improved. That right now it's more project-oriented and development-oriented. Because when you have a lot of exams happening, it's still, maybe you miss something.
No. Okay, thank you. There is a question coming in. Is it possible to transfer from Fontys and study the same program abroad? Yeah, that depends, of course, on the university you're going to, whether they will accept the credits you have achieved here at Fontys. As what I already mentioned, each year you can achieve 60 ECTS credit, European credits as we call it. So our program is at least European recognized and normally also recognized in the rest of the world. But at the end of the first year, when you have achieved 60 credits, you already get your first certificate, which is called the 𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗂 certificate. And as what I mentioned, it depends on the university you're going to, whether they will accept the credits you achieved, yes or no. So that's not up to us. Is there any age limit for the HBO means University of Applied Sciences? No, there is no age limit. In fact, it happens sometimes that students are only 17 years of age. But as what I already mentioned, the average age when students start the program, it's around 18 years. Is it possible to skip some of semesters with the 2 years of previous universities in software engineering? That's a question for the exam board. We cannot give a correct answer to this question right now. What I can only say is that exam boards are very strict about this. So you're mentioning here an associate degree. It's called in your home country. Associate degree, I would say, normally does not give maybe some exemptions for some subjects, but don't depend on it a lot. Yeah. I don't know whether you have something to add to this, Tim, or...
Well, yeah, good question. So we also offer an associate degree since shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that measures up in any way to the associate degree Arman is talking about, but yeah, I guess this works on a case-by-case basis. So you will be assessed and judged, and in that case, it depends very much on the skills you have picked up, I guess.
But this is a typical case for the exam board then. So then I would say, if you want to start at Fontys, so do your studylink.nl application, and then you will be contacted by the admin office, and then you can ask these questions, and then they will ask you, okay, send us your grade lists, your transcripts, your curriculum, and then they can give it to the exam board, and then after some time you will get a result which is positive or negative. You know? Okay. All right, so Arman says thanks for the answer. Are there any more questions coming in, or did I miss anything? Karina, you are very keen on that.
No, you covered everything so far, Leo.
Okay. Yeah, we still have some minutes left. Is there anything we forgot to talk about?
Well, what I can offer you is a little bit of Dutch culture live right here next to my door. I don't actually know if my screen is visible right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's shoes with carrots in it, because Sinterklaas is in the country, and he's like a little bit like Santa Claus, I guess, but for the Dutch kids.
Yeah. So your kids are still young.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what it means, Karina and Nikita? Shoe with carrots in it. Yeah.
Even saw a Sinterklaas, I think, 2 days ago in the street, and I was a bit like, wait, it's already November. Yeah, it's still November. Here, people celebrate Sinterklaas, which like their Christmas in November already.
Yeah. Okay. I think we covered everything so far. Let me say thank you to Karina and Nikita, first of all, and of course to Tim for presenting today's webinar. Of course, thanks a lot to the students who have taken part as well. Hopefully we have given you some good information, but consider this as the starting point of your, let's say, your investigation in finding out what's the best study program that suits you best, because that's the most important thing. Whenever you start a university study program, it should suit you. Of course, you should have the brains for it, but very important, and maybe even more important, you should have the passion for it. So, and that's what that's your adventure you have to go through in the oncoming weeks and months. So try to find a study program that has it both. For now, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to follow us on our social media or visit our website regularly. Whenever you have questions, there are a lot of student ambassadors also available on our website, so you can always ask them your questions, and so feel free to do that. For now, I'm saying goodbye. Have a nice evening, and hopefully we will meet again sometime, someplace in Eindhoven. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.